So we've got a README here. So this has to be run, this script here. So just go to the desktop. And I would run so you run the command. Now the script is running. All you do is then connect to localhost with the port 12345 in the browser. So that's what's open right here. So this is the software to actually run it. You first click input format, and the only thing I've ever run is an STL file.
Okay.
Let's see, we've got some.
And you still put in like a proper 3D, not a 2D file for this, right?
3D file.
Okay.
It let's see if there's any software that we can look at what this guy actually looks like.
Okay.
So this is just a simple mold with just a square, or just a ring. But so you need, it'll look at a file and it will see if there's any pattern in that file. So you need some sort of base platform for the software to read it. So if we open that file, it's looking top down. So you have to make sure that the z-axis is pointed up on your file.
Okay.
So we're looking down. You can see this. And the only thing we have to change on this first section is the units per inch, depending on what units you used. I think I have millimeters, 25.4, and then you just hit calculate height map. See it, kind of.
It's yellow.
Yep.
Yellow right there. Okay, well, that's nice. Okay, so output format for this is Roland mil. The only output that will work here.
Does the power need to be on or something, or?
Again, it's not happy. Nope. Okay, fun. Haven't used this in a long time. Okay. So
It's still connected to the computer, I assume, right?
It's still connected to the
Okay.
computer, but the one other thing I can do, besides restarting the script, is run this command to allow you to connect to the USB, if that's the issue. I'm just going to restart the script. And see if that fixes it. So let's try this again. Mesh. Maybe there's something more interesting we can look at. Okay, this is more interesting. Same units.
That's the thing that you
What's that? Oh, it's quite similar to that heater, but
It was meant to be a heater.
yeah.
Roland mill output. Machine. Okay.
Yay!
So
Nice.
restarted everything, ended up working. We have the MDX-15. Now, the speed is dependent on what material you're cutting.
Sure.
So that's all similar to any other CNC.
Okay.
I don't know why it's not working. Let's see. So the two ways this machine works is either through a rough cut or a finish cut. So rough cut is where it does individual steps in the Z-plane, and the finish cut is where it goes along the XY and steps up the Z-plane, or it travels the Z-plane through each XY
Okay.
line.
Yeah, like a 3D print or whatever.
Like a 3D print. Normally you do a rough cut and then a finish cut on the same one.
And in terms of like zeroing the XYZ for this,
So that I'll show you in a second. It's just for some reason it's not actually it's not loading the command here, which means something's off. Always finicky. Right now, if I hit move to 0, it should communicate with the machine, but we're missing the send command, which likely means it's not communicating with the machine. So what I'm going to do is, once again, restart. Let's try this again. We'll load our STL. Calculate our height map. Output to Roland mill. Choose our machine. Ah, still not doing it. Okay.
okay, that's
So now it populated the send command, and it loaded the XYZ coordinates for 0.
which is where it is now, or just
Which is where it is now.
Okay.
If I, the first thing you have to do once you get to this point, once you generate your map and it seems like it's communicating with the machine, this send command is not correct. So in our README over here, it says change the handshake to DSR DTR. So the handshake is that command right at the end. So I
Okay.
just changed that. And now that I have that, I should be able to move to 0. So this is currently the 0 point. Then you would adjust the Z-axis height. So let's see. Maybe I start with some wax. You have to loosen both sides. Nice.
Just watch all those saws too.
Yeah.
Don't want you to get the undergrad treatment, you know, on your last day.
So usually what we do is you put your drill bit all the way up, adjust the Z-axis to close to what you want, and then you drop the drill bit down to the surface of your part. So let's say I want, my part was over in the middle over here. I would change my X and Y to get over there. So let's say that was where I actually wanted to start.
Yeah.
I would hold down the tool down button. And let's say I was close to my part here, I would drop the drill bit to rest on my part and then tighten.
And then just, now you
And then
could say it's
that's,
0
that's
for
now
Z.
R0.
Okay.
And now if you're worried about scraping your part right now, you can just move to XYZ jog. So if I want to move 10 millimeters above my part, just to keep it in a safe spot, it will just raise it 10 millimeters at the current location.
Okay, and you would only move the Z for that?
Then only moves the Z.
Yeah.
Right now, XYZ 0 point is still 10 millimeters below where it is right now.
Okay.
These are all the parameters for the cut. Usually they're fine, all except for tool diameter and your cut depth. So your cut depth obviously depends on your material.
But it's per pass.
And it's per pass.
Okay.
So the cut depth of each layer.
Okay.
So depends on the diameter of your tool bit, your drill bit, and your material.
Sure.
But I'm not sure what this, how thick this pattern was, but let's hope it's around a few hundred microns. And the tool bit is the 1/32nd, but I'll just put in some number. 1/8. Once I have all that ready, I can calculate my process. And it will calculate
The path, I guess.
the path. For large parts and small drill bits, this takes a long time.
Sure. I guess any benefit to use this versus the mill in the electronics room?
For a PCB, the only reason I would use this is because the other one's broken.
Okay.
But
Yeah, the
for
other
a
one has
PCB, this is horrible
Okay.
compared to the other one. Because you are stuck with one drill bit right here
For the whole job?
for the whole job.
Yeah.
So it works for very simple things.
Okay.
So it looks like my thing was actually 1 millimeter deep.
So it's got to do 10 layers? Yeah.
Yeah. All the drill bits for this guy are over here.
On the bottom there, yeah?
Yeah, at the bottom. All these.
Okay.
Still a few more layers. So once you're done with that, all you do is hit send.
And the router itself is already on now?
What?
The actual spinning bit is rotating, right?
Yeah.
You don't need to do another thing to turn that on?
Yep, no, now it's just going, and it'll complete this job. It's not very smart, there's no feedback. If it's killing itself, it will destroy itself.
Okay.
Okay. So if you have to stop it for any reason, if it's doing something you didn't want it to do, just hit view. And it'll go off into the corner. The second you hit view again, it will continue doing what it was doing.
Okay.
Even if you close this guy, there's some data that's still been sent over. So the only way to clear that is to hold both up and down. and then hit view. Let's see if it's trying to go. First close this guy,
Okay.
and then hit up down. Wait until that stops flashing, and then we can hit view, and it'll go back to the 0 point. And then the last step would be to run finish cut. Depending on what you're doing. For this type of pattern where it's just a 2D pattern, you wouldn't need to run a finish cut.
Sure.
But so I loaded finish cut. Just hit calculate. You do have to reset the tool diameter, so it looks like my large tool diameter doesn't actually do much. Oh.
And in terms of like part adhesion to the platform, you just use the double-sided tape or something?
Or hot glue.
Or hot glue. Okay, it's not like a clamping system in there.
There's no clamping system. It will. There's a pretty large amount of force from the drill bit to the part, so it really needs to be glued down or
Okay.
taped down. I've had an issue with the double-sided tape not being strong enough.
So
So
the Gorilla double-sided, not the standard Scotch
Yeah.
or whatever.
this PCB is just glued down here. There's these two screws. And this is our blade, our base here. You can use a spatula to remove the old one, old part.
And there's no like vacuum or anything like this for the dust, right?
Nope, that's all manual. The only reason I would use this machine over the HandyBot is the accuracy. This has 5 micron accuracy.
Sure.
That's the only reason. Otherwise, that guy's better in basically every way.
Yeah, I need to finish installing the limit switch because this thing, the main issue is it's a